Hi everyone, my name is Daniela Storti and I'm a Family Constellations facilitator. In this video, I will talk about secrets in families. Do you know what secrets in your family could cause a disorder in your life and the life of someone you love? If you don't know, stay with me until the end of this video. But before we get to that, I would like to ask you to subscribe to this channel. We have new content released every week. And this content is to help you awaken your consciousness by identifying and understanding the source of your life problems. Let's start? In this video, I will tell you many secrets that I usually see in family constellation sessions with my clients, and I will give you examples and how these secrets could cause a disorder or in your life and in your family as well. So I choose this topic because I believe this can bring you consciousness about these topics, about these secrets, and this might help you or someone else that you know is passing through this kind of situations, and this could help you and many people as well. So if you like it, share this content. Feel free to share this content with your family members or your friends, anyone that might need it. Let's talk about what is secret. Secret is something or mainly some information that someone is hiding from someone else. What would be secrets in our family? So I made a list here with the most common ones because I want to give you as much as example as possible. I think the most common one would be third person in a relationship. Someone, a husband or a wife who has another relationship, who is hiding another relationship. Another example, a child outside of the main marriage, where the wife does not know about this child's existence. Sometimes the entire family knows about it, except the wife. Can you imagine that? A child that a father believes is his own child, but his wife is keeping a secret because the child is from someone else. Can you see how this could be hard in a relationship? Another one, sexual abuse in a family. This is hard to say, but it is very common and usually shows up in a family constellation session. A child who is abused and usually is inside the family by the grandfather, by a cousin, by an uncle. This is really hard, but it is very common. One more example, an adoption. For example, your cousin is adopted and the entire family knows about it except your cousin. This is a secret for your cousin. And might be difficult because your cousin might feel that something is weird, something is like she or he might feel all the time that something is hiding from, like she doesn't know everything. She feels that everyone knows something except her. This could happen. Another example that I saw once, you had a baby when you were a teenager and you gave this baby for adoption for many reasons because you couldn't raise this baby or whatever. But years later, when you build your family with your husband and you have another child, but they do not know about your past, for example. This is another secret that I saw once. Or back to related to this one, back to the old years when a teenager pregnant and it was too young to be a mother and the family was ashamed because she was not married. This teenager didn't have a relationship, and the family decided to raise this child by the grandparents as their own, which means that this baby was raised by the grandparents as a brother or sister of his own mother. Can you imagine how this could be difficult? But this was very common some years ago. And these people might have 45, 50 years old now, and they do not know that they are mother and child instead of brothers and sisters. A suicide that happened in the family and nobody talks about it, or nobody talks about the reason of this suicide. And every time that someone tries to touch this topic, someone else does not want to talk about it. And this, again, is forming a secret in the family. So there are many other examples, but I listed the most common ones just to give you an illustration how, what is a secret in a family and what are the disorders that this could cause in your life or the life of someone you love. If you think closely about all these examples that I mentioned, they are mainly related to an exclusion in the family system. What is an exclusion and what happens when there is an exclusion in a family? If you haven't watched it yet, I have a video in this channel talking about the orders of love. I will put the link for you here below so for your easy reference. But in this video, I explain the 3 orders of love that basically they are the life laws that happen, that act in our life, no matter if we know about them or not, no matter if we want them or not. And when there is an exclusion in the family system, we are violating the belong order. What does this mean, Daniela? Means that everyone has the right to belong to the family or to the group or to the system. Every family member has the right to belong. So if there is a child that you gave away, this child belongs to your family. If there was a miscarriage or an abortion, this child belongs to the family. If someone was committed a suicide, this person belongs to the family. And when there is an exclusion, a movement is created in the family just trying to bring back the excluded person, just trying to restore the belong order. And usually, a young person from a young generation will take place of the excluded one. And this person might present the same feelings, the same symptoms. She might feel excluded as well. And she finally could take the same fate as the excluded one. This is why we need to look at this and bring everyone to the family, even if this person is already dead, but we include and we put inside our hearts so to break this cycle. Because when there is an exclusion and this passed through another generation, and another generation is creating a cycle and a pattern in this family that we can break when we follow this order, meaning that everyone are part of the family. Everyone are part of the group or the system or the company. So let me explain a little bit better. So for instance, is a child outside of the marriage. Let's say a father had a child when he was a teenager and he doesn't have a relationship with this child. He doesn't talk with his own child that he had before, or he hasn't assumed that his child as his own. And years later, when he built his family, got married, and had another child in his relationship. This new child, this young one, might present an angry behavior, difficulties in the relationship with his father, and anything that could force his own father to include his previous child in the family as well, because that one is part of the family, and no matter if he's still alive or not. This is an example how it works. The brothers and sisters, they do not want to know what happened in the previous relationship or in this marriage. They just want, all of them, all the children, just want to be part of the family. And this works for everyone, not only children, but any excluded person. So every secret is from a painful or hurtful situation. And this is mainly why it is a secret, because the people involved, they do not want to talk about it, because it is hurtful, it is painful. But every secret that I mentioned will cause an uncomfortable feeling in the relationship between the parts involved. Might be hurtful to talk about it, and there is a guilty feeling, there is an ashamed feeling from who is hiding the information, and because of that, the disorders are going to show up more and more in the relationships, including in future generations. So from the systemic point of view, the love between those people is not enough for a healthy relationship. Every relationship, everything needs order, and the order has precedence over the love. So I want to illustrate to you a little bit more how those secrets can cause a huge damage in a family based on a book that I read and I just finished a few days ago. So this book is about a couple who had twins in the 60s. The man was a doctor, and until the time of the delivery, the couple did not know that they were expecting twins. When the time comes, they couldn't arrive at the hospital on time because it was a snowstorm night. And so he, as a doctor, had to help his own wife with the delivery. But he had a nurse with him. And the first baby came, and it was a healthy boy. A few minutes later, when the second baby came, it was a girl. He noticed that she had Down syndrome. He was familiar because he, as a doctor, also had a sister with the same syndrome. And trying to avoid his wife from the suffering he saw his parents with his sister, he decided to give this child away, and he gave to the nurse. The nurse raised this child as her own, and her wife was kind of unconscious, and she slept because she was numb from the pain of the childbirth. But when she woke up, he lied to her, and he told her that the baby was born already dead. Look at this situation. The secret starts at that moment. And at that time, he couldn't imagine how this could be a painful situation for his own, but also for his wife and his boy as well. And he couldn't imagine how this could kill his family from inside and out, and him as well. Long story short, he was so ashamed of what he did, and he was feeling so guilty that he couldn't look at his wife's eyes, and he couldn't continue a relationship. And from that moment and onwards, their relationship was becoming apart, and it was growing a hole between them that at some point it was not possible to restore anymore. And because of that, he was also, because of the guilty and the ashamed feeling, he also started working more and more, and he was all the time busy in the hospital, and he was all the time absent for his own child, for his boy he was raising, and he became an absent father. So his relationship with his wife was getting more and more distant, and he was absent for his child as well. So in both cases, the relationship between them at some point was not possible to restore anymore. So because of the lack of an intimate relationship between the couple, she started having other lovers. And this was another problem raised because of this secret. And this is also related to one of the orders that I mentioned in the video that I will put here for you, the Orders of Love video. One of the other order is balance. And every relationship needs a balance between giving and taking. In that case, their relationship, in this couple relationship, the balance was totally unbalanced. And it is very common betrayal between this couple relationship, because it was totally an unbalanced relationship. So in family constellations, this is related to the balance order, and essentially every relationship needs the balance between giving and taking. I give you 50% and you give me 50%. This is the only way that we can have a healthy relationship. And in this case, related to the book, in this case, because he had a secret, she started having a secret as well. Looks like crazy, but it is how it works in a relationship. In relationship between couples, but also relationship between parents and children. Parents give to their children, and children receive from their parents. This is the balance between parents and children. It is a little bit different between lovers. Talking about this illustration, can you imagine? Can you see what a damage this secret caused in this family? After the secret, he lost his relationship with his wife. After some years, they got divorced and she had another person. He also lost a relationship with his own son because they could never had a real talk, a real conversation between father and son. He was ashamed, he was feeling guilty, and he was absent father. Yeah, it is this could cause a huge damage in a family relationship. And this could cause a damage in the future generations as well. Because the way that this son has a relationship with his own father if he does not have conscious about it, he might repeat an absent parenting with his own child as well, and so on. And this is a pattern that we can see. And this is why in a family constellations, when we have consciousness about it, we can break these cycles, these type of cycles. About secrets, in a family constellations, what I want to tell you that we look at secrets with another eye, without judgment. We look at secrets with love. I'm not saying that the secret is right or wrong, but it was the way that it was, and we cannot change the past. We cannot change what was decided in the past. We can only work with what happened, accepting what happened before, trying to understand it, why that happened, why it was that way. And with consciousness, we can improve for now and onwards. And looking at this with love and without judgment, this secret might came down, and this could bring relief to the family, to the system. So unconsciously, secrets can show up in an angry behavior, in an illness, in difficulties in relationships that could be between couples, between parents and children, but also could show up in finance difficulties, in difficulties in your career. It could show up in many forms. And it is important to notice that it's not because there was not love in the family, but there is only a violation of one of the orders that I mentioned, and the life just wants the restoration of these orders. And when we have consciousness about how it works, it will help us to avoid the entanglements between these family members. So if you have a secret, you need to feel that if you are ready to talk about it, if you are ready to relieve yourself from it, and this, if you are not ready, that's totally fine. Just know that this can bring a lot of relief and also a lighter feeling for you and all the family members involved, and for your future generations as well. If you are not ready to talk about it, just try to start healing yourself from the guilty or ashamed feeling that you might feel about it. And this will bring a huge light feeling for you, a huge relief for you. This is important. This is what matters. This is a start point. If you do not have a secret, but if you discover that your family has a secret during a family constellation session, don't judge as well. Don't judge the way that it was. Don't judge what happened, because we never know. We were not at that moment, so we do not know what was happening with those people and why they decided they made that type of decision, or why they decided something or something else. It is important only to have consciousness about it and understand it. So in that way, it is possible to start accepting it and healing yourself for you, for your life and your children as well. So in a session, in a family constellation session, I usually work on healing this feeling and also putting the whole family system in order again, using the orders of love that I mentioned. And this can awaken your consciousness and bring more consciousness to you. This is a hot topic, and but I believe it could bring more clarification about secrets in families and how this could generate a lot of entanglements, but also how we can deal with it and how we can start healing it inside us. Usually, like in a family constellations, the morphic fields will bring information to help us to heal ourselves and to start healing our feelings and our relationships as well. If you still have questions about this topic, if it was a lot of information and generated a lot of doubts, send me comments in this video. I will be more than happy to chat with you about it. Thank you for watching me and see you in the next video. Bye!